Today in Bubble or Nothing, we focus on the Boston Celtics. They're 43-21, third in the East when the season came to a halt. Jason Tatum was on fire. They're one of three teams to rank top 10 in both offensive and defensive efficiency, and Caesars Sportsbook gives them 5-1 odds to win the East. I need to bring back former Celtic, and he won a championship with the Celtics as well. Let's not forget that. Kendrick Perkins here with us. Marcus, I'm going to start with you, though. Can Boston win it all this year? Can they win the chip?
Molly, I'm on the cusp of saying yeah, but it's a few things that bother me, and that's the efficiency from the front court. When I think about this Celtics team, when you look across the perimeter, it's a hard argument that they could arguably be the best with Kemba, Jaylen Brown, and Tatum, obviously a budding superstar. And what Marcus Smart does for this team, I think everybody needs. Reminds me of similar to Patrick Beverley with a little more offensive prowess. I struggle when I get to Enes Kanter. I struggle when I get under the basket, absent of Al Horford. A guy like that when you get deep into this playoffs. We're talking about the West right now. Even if we go Lakers, we talk AD. You bring in the size with Dwight. Also, if it's the Clippers, you know, you think about the side, Montrezl Harrell, the guys down in the front court is my issue. I know Boston can score at a clip. I know they have guys that can get out in transition. Defensively, they play hard perimeter ball. I struggle when they get to the point of a guy being down low, a guy that can take care of the paint, 15 foot, kind of dominate in that area. I don't see them having the answer for that, including what the West has, if it's the Clippers with Paul George and obviously Kawhi, and don't forget Lou Williams. I think you can match perimeter play, but when it gets to the playoffs, you find a distinct advantage, and it may be the front court that Boston suffers with.
Who's going, me or you, Perk?
You go ahead.
Okay,
Max.
I'll take it. I actually think. Look, I'm not taking the Celtics to win it all. But if you're asking me, what is their ceiling? Are they the kind of team that could win a championship in a weird kind of season? The answer is yes, I think they are. I appreciate your front court argument, Marcus, because what's his name, Theus, is like 6'8", but he's really good actually. And Kanter is a big, but he doesn't really play defense. So I appreciate the point. They're undersized in terms of the guys who are really going to be getting minutes, but they can really play. Their starting five, you could argue, is the best in basketball if you're not just talking about the total value of them, but each guy. Like, there's no one who's even average. Everyone is anywhere from way above average to an all-star. You know, now there may not be an MVP, and Tatum may not be there yet, but if he takes a step forward in these playoffs, they could do it. Like, think about that starting five. It's bananas. And unlike with Kyrie, there's no locker room issue with Kemba. Kemba's a leader. I look at the team, they can shoot, they can play defense, they are a bit undersized, but in this new era where Westbrook is basically the center of the Houston Rockets, the micro ball era, right? I think they're the underdogs for sure. But what's their ceiling? Is their ceiling conference finals? No, their ceiling is a chip.
Well, I agree with you on some points, Max and Spears, but here's the thing. The ceiling for the Celtics is the finals, right? I got them coming out of the East, and it's hard for me to go against the Toronto Raptors because I think they have it on their mind and they want all the smoke. But when you look at this Celtic lineup, you look at Jason Tatum, who's becoming a star right in front of our eyes, who dropped a 40 ball on Kawhi Leonard in the Clippers, and also dropped a 40-piece in the Staples Center on the Lakers. And when I'm looking at his body of work, this guy is becoming a superstar and becoming one of the elite players in this league. Now here it is, you look at a guy like Jaylen Brown, one of the better two-way players in the game today, a guy that could give you 20-plus points on one end on 50% shooting and clamp you down on the other end. And then we all know about Marcus Smart. He's in the top 5 conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. Because guess what, Max, Spears, and Molly, if you see Marcus Smart in a fight with a bear, you know that old school saying, you better help the bear, because he is about that action. Now, here it is. Y'all have to give y'all have to give – no, let me touch on Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward is averaging 17 points on 50% shooting. We all know that Gordon Hayward in Utah before the injury, he was capable of going for 25, 30 points a night, and he's capable of doing that now that he's healthy. But let me correct y'all on something, okay? The bigs, first of all, Max, Tice is not 6'8". I done stood next to him. He's taller than me. He's legit 6'11", okay? Second of all, let me tell you something. He's an underrated defender.
About 6'11"?
He can switch 1 through 5s. Tice, Thiers, who you said, right? Thiers, right?
Yep.
The starting
Yep.
center. You said that he's 6'8". He's not 6'8".
Yep.
He's legit 6'11", right?
6'10",
okay, so he's
6'11",
an underrated.
okay.
No, Max. He's an underrated shot blocker. He's an underrated shot blocker. He can switch 1 through 5. He's been underappreciated in his role. Now, Spears, let me go to you, big bro,
Agreed.
on Enes Kanter. Enes Kanter has had a history of being a guy that could get a bucket, and that's it. On the defensive end, he has been a liability in the past. 70% of the time he gets scored on, right? But let me take you back to last year. Everyone talk about in that playoff series, they talk about what Dame Dollar did to the Oklahoma City Thunder, which he did do a tremendous job. But no one talks about what Enes Kanter did to Steven Adams on both ends. Enes Kanter did a hell of a job on the defensive end, and he put one of my favorite centers in Steven Adams, a guy that I taught, in the body bag. So when I'm looking at this Celtic lineup, I'm like, listen, if Kemba could be 70%, because he's dealing with knee issues, I could see the Boston Celtics going to the finals, but not winning it all. But I definitely see that ceiling is reaching the finals right now.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.